In this episode, we hug an engine, we try a sucker.
So we're going to try this sucker.
And we compare rods.
Welcome to HooptieDoodle. Let me catch you up. I'm taking a 1982 Goldwing. I'm going to transform it into a bobber. Part of that plan is to put a monoshock on the rear end of it. Also, as the story has progressed, turns out the engine that I got with the bike originally, no good. So now we have two engines. I've got another engine from a salvage yard I picked up for about 200 bucks. And so I'm going to be working on that engine. Right now, the silver lining of the old engine is that I now can take the two halves of the case, put them back together without all the components inside of it, which makes it lightweight and a great mock engine. So I'm going to use that, jam it in here, so when I go to cut the frame and mock up the suspension, I can have the actual engine here to design around. So that's the plan right now. I'm going to go ahead, take that mock engine, throw it in here, and then we'll have that to play with. So we've got a nice new salvage yard engine here. It turns over. We've done the compression test on it. We need to put new heads on it. Haven't done that yet. But the other thing about this engine that we need to fix before we go too far into it, if you recall from an earlier video when we took out the original engine, there's an engine mount bolt that runs through the engine that is particularly difficult. And this one, when they took it out of the bike, they just cut it out of the frame. So now what we got to deal with is, you can see that guy right there, that's what's left of the bolt sticking out there. On the other side, it's a little bit better. We've got about an inch and a half, 2 inches of bolt on this side. I've soaked that with penetrating oil. I sprayed it a couple times, let it sit for days, and so it's prepped as best I can prep it. I've hit it with a hammer a little bit just to see if it will be easy somehow. It doesn't appear that's going to be the case. So we've got another magic tool of my dad's. Air hammer, air chisel, with this little pointy thing on the end of it. My dad likes to use this. He's used this for years to get out stuck bolts. So we're going to try this sucker. So my dad's technique for this air hammer is basically to stick it on there, but because it's an air hammer and it'll wobble all over and go all over the place, we don't want it to do that. We want it to line up with that bolt. So the technique is to take a little punch here, a center punch. This is called a center punch. Mark the center of the bolt with the punch, and then take a drill and drill a nice little hole in the center of this thing that is about the same diameter as the end of this thing, and it will sit in there better. It shouldn't move all over the place anymore. And then we should get better results. It works! Now it's time to put our little center punch on this end and do our drilling on this end. We're going to throw some penetrating oil on here and then hammer it back through that way and then keep doing that. And then we'll get out the one we took off the other engine, this bolt here, and we'll just try and drive it all the way through. And there it is. Look at that. And there it is. This one actually doesn't look as bad as the one I had. Like, oh, there's a little bit of clear metal on that one too. But these ones are tough for some reason. I got another one coming to replace this one because I bent this end over here. And to end the day, we've got the electrical system all ready to go to hook up on the new engine so we can run that engine on the floor. We've also been cleaning up the new engine to make sure it looks nice and pretty. So that's it for today's episode. Next time, we're going to be chopping this bike.